learned lessons. Family, children. This is a little more on discipline. And do I believe in disciplining? Yes. Yes, I do. So spanking, yes. But each child is unique. Some children don't require that. This gets back to what I said in one of the previous vids is discernment. So not only outside your inner circle, but also your inner circle, you need to discern how to deal with each child because you're going to have the entire spectrum as far as children if you have multiple. Um, so each child you have to have discernment as to what you need to do. No parent, in essence, no parent really wants to discipline their child. They, they want their child to be perfect, so they don't have to. They can just wake up and they just go do everything exactly right. Um, so there are stages to it. You don't just walk up to them and start socking them in the eye or something. Um, it's a gradual thing. I mean, obviously, you're trying to speak to them rationally, although they don't understand being rational at a young age. I understand you do want to speak to them, and you do start off by speaking to them in that manner, so they understand that. But no, children don't understand being rational. It's either is what I want. Period. It's more or less. It's more so a battle of wills than anything. So that's usually the only time that you have to really get into that. I mean, but some are just stubborn. They just want to have it their way, and it's like no, it's going to be my way. You'll have your chance to have it your way, but not now. Um, so yeah, I believe it. But again, it's a measured thing. It's balance, and you know, it's discernment. So there's a time for it. Just have to know when that time is. Um, but it's a lot more to that also. I mean, again, even though I've stated that my children are grabbing, they have the same issues that any other kids out here have. But I look back on some of the things, like obviously me and their uh, mother weren't on the greatest of. We weren't the greatest. We weren't the greatest example in a lot of ways. So, um, but there's so many there's so many aspects involved with it. So many things that play on how you're dealing with it. Um, and that's from male to female perspective because I look at it as a blanket disciplining. You know, don't be tough on you because I love you, boy, girl, doesn't matter. So yeah, you do have to establish that. Um, but then there are times like if there's a verbal thing between the parents or whatever, it's like how do you deal with that? In that, and I've done from not speaking to speaking in a calm voice to uh, responding with the same level of vitriol or whatever, um, as that's being thrown out. And one of my thoughts was that, well, the kids should at least see that there are different ways to try to handle that type of situation. Um, but again, that's in my mind is trying to show them, you can be try to ignore it, see if it goes away. You can try to be calm and rational and low tone to handle it, and then sometimes you have to show that no, I'm gonna give you the same vitriol that you give, just so you can see that you can't go around doing that to folks and just think that it's okay. So in giving each example, not only for the person who's doing it, but also as how those kids see it. The problem is you don't know how they're responding to that because they're ingesting it. Each one could be ingesting it differently and for different reasons. Um, so as far as the female child, is that how does that female child respond to that interaction between the parents as opposed to the male child? Are they looking at it in response to, like, this is how the male should deal with the female in the relationship? Do they just see, it's there is so many things that play into it, and how you can, you don't know. Obviously, like I said, you don't really know how each one's thinking, um, and the dynamic is just is you never know, really. Honestly, you never know. Like I said, so I tried to do different things, but that was just in the person I'm having the interaction with. And I'm also thinking of how the children are seeing it, how they're responding to it. But if you've got two different children, you know, you have male and female, and they're responding to that interaction differently. You know, it's almost as if, well, how can you handle it in the best light? In that, because they're responding differently. I'm not only am I dealing with the interaction, but I'm also trying to set an example. But then the example that you're setting could be taken in different ways. So it's a lot of intricacies, and you know, saying which one is best, I, I, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I got great kids. They seem to come out okay because I try to also explain to them even after there's any kind of altercation or interaction like that. It's like, hey, we might not be showing you the best example of how relationships go, so don't take this to heart. But but that's it's a learning experience from them, and they learn from this. Uh, but again, it's the what are they learning though? Are they learning it from the aspect of child to parent? Are they learning it from aspect of individual to individual? Are they learning it from the aspect of mother to father? Interaction. I mean, what? How are they taking that data in? Um, you never really know. You can even ask them, and they'd probably have a little difficulty trying to explain it to you. But it's a hard one. It's a hard one. But I think the main point of it is to, in some way, in some level, to try to be cognizant of the fact that all of those dynamics are taking place. It's bigger than it's way bigger than just you. So just being cognizant of all of those dynamics that are going on in just one situation, just one interaction. So uh, again, if you're just cognizant of it, that'll help you at least think through your responses. You can't control the other person's responses, but you can control yours. Um, but again that's only part of the battle, because a female child is still going to look at the female parent and how they're dealing with as well as responding. Even though as the male, the example you're trying to set is for both male and female child. You don't know which one that how they're following it, how they're interpreting it. Um, so again, you can try to, But I mean, on these kind of levels, it's going to be hard for a kid to express um, how they're internalizing something like that. I mean, I don't think they're able to really break that down, but it's still good to try to talk to them to explain things. But in any interaction, you should always be cognizant of, because they watch everything. I mean, they watch everything. I remember a guy asked me one time. He was like, "Hey man, if you could, you know, I want you to work with my son or whatever." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll tutor him, whatever. I'll help him out in math and stuff like that." But I mean, if you in life lessons, bro, I can't really, he's looking at you. Everything that comes out of your mouth, he's watching, he's listening, he's taking it all in. So it ain't me, it's you. He's looking for guidance and direction from you. So everything that you do, everything you say, how you say it, the all the points of interaction, but everything that is within whatever situation that they're observing, they're taking it all in. I mean, mannerisms, tone, everything. So when you speak, you just be cognizant because they are watching, they're learning, uh, they're computing, and they're determining in their own aspect of, okay, so how do I use that? Do I use that the same way? When do I use that? So yeah, be cognizant. Learn lesson.